Back in the basement for Feedback Friday. So much stuff to do to clean up here. This is what I use for crafting so I could see things. Pretty cool. Pretty cool little thing there. All right, we'll just wait until everybody gets here for the feedback and the Friday. For the feedback and the Friday. For the feedback and the Friday. Feedback Friday, Feedback Friday. That is the sound of episode 2 of the summer sessions. That is the sound of the summer sessions on Feedback Friday. Let's see who's around. Oh, my back is killing me, people. Well, we're back here in the basement for Feedback Friday. Oh, wow. People are here. Hello, people. All right, so who do we have? The Gaming Tortoise is here. Welcome back. Albert, come to studio. No. Just no. I'm done. Khalas. What's up, Moots? What's up, Jim Face? Kevin, how's it going? Carnietas, Jack Attack, May, Shepard, Brandon, Nicholas Holmes. Nicholas is watching the B team. Well, you can go back to that. This will be a short Feedback Friday, I promise. Try a banana and some stretching. You know what? That's probably a good idea. I need some potassium. I'm very sore all over. Happy Friday, VA. Welcome, my friends. Welcome. Just got back from vacation to catch the Feedback Friday. Excellent, Robert. Good to have you back, my friend. Hey, Scrapman painted his first mini yesterday. Look what I have to show you. It's an unpainted mini. This is a Dragonborn that I was going to do. And I got as far as just painting his shield, the base coat on his shield and his sword. That's it. The rest of him is a primed gray. Hopefully this fall I'll be able to get back into painting minis. I got a little further on a tavern lady. I got the base coat on her dress. I'm going to give it a nice vibrant color, but I wanted some shadow in there. And I painted her apron and started working. Yeah, this, you're not going to see any detail there because my camera sucks. But anyway, I started her. But the rest of them, so many more that I have to do. So welcome, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Feedback Friday. Let's see who else is checking in. James Woodwright, my friend. It's into the evening, nay, dare I say, the night in the UK. So glad I'm not going in too late for you. Miss Faye dropped her phone and screeched. Uh-oh. Doboyski, welcome. My newest patron, Doboyski, is in the chat. Welcome to Feedback Friday, my friends. Scott Marish is in the house. Nicholas Holmes, James Woodwright. Can I re-ask my question? Is monthly too long to do D&D? James Woodwright, it is not. So that's a great starter for Feedback Friday. James's question is the frequency of your gaming group. Can you play with a gaming group in a campaign and only play once a month? And my answer is yes, you can. But here are the challenges with that. When you only play once a month, a lot of times, not only do your players forget what happened in the last session, but you, as the DM, might forget. So, what I recommend is this. Number one, as the DM, immediately after you finish a session, type up notes that are a summary of what the last session was. Number two, ask the players in your groups to take notes. Inevitably you're going to have one of those players who doesn't want to take notes. Sometimes I'm that guy. But if you ask them to take notes, then you can have them collectively recap for the next session. You can go over your summary, they can go over theirs, and you can kind of do a recap. And I've found that that really helps the group. If you're only meeting once a month or even every 6 weeks, it really helps the group to have some kind of a campaign diary. And that's the third strategy, is literally have a campaign diary. And sometimes you can actually reward players for having a good campaign diary. If they have extensive notes and maps, give them a reward, give them an inspiration point. It's an incentive for them to do a better job. So that is how it's possible. Good question to start us off, James. Hey Bill, do you ever get on Roll20? Gym Face, I haven't yet. And I say yet because I'm still juggling how I'm going to play online with some of my higher level patrons. And we're looking at Roll20, we're looking at Fantasy Grounds, so I'm not sure what's going to work out best. But I'm interested, I'm curious, and I'm planning on learning more about all of the potential ways to play online. And I also know people have suggested Discord. That may be something that we look into as well for those Patreon games. So we shall see. Yes, Robert pointing out the regular village folk. So when it comes to minis, you guys know that I have a lot of them. I've been on this kick in the last year of getting a lot of like villagers, and I really scored. Okay, there's a game, a board game called Agricola. And I've never played it. But WizKids came up with minis, like an expansion pack for Agricola. And I saw these in a game store and I bought 6 packages of them. So if you're lucky enough to find them, if you do a search for like Agricola WizKids miniatures, you'll see what I mean. They're pre-painted. They're actually pretty decently painted. And there's like a variety of sculpts in each pack. So I think you get 5 minis in a pack. So I bought like one of each color. And you can always go back and repaint over them, but for that price point, they're perfect, and they're the right size. They're what I guess would be probably 30 millimeter. So if you want to just like have an immediate flood of like peasant folk for your games, that was the best deal I've found by far. I mean, other than buying unpainted ones and painting them yourself. Yes, so VA plays in a monthly group. Like I said, I've played in monthly groups. DOD Spec Ops interrupting my concentration with the $5 Coke Zero donation. Do you know why I need that donation, buddy? Look what's left. Diet ginger ale. That's all I have left in the fridge. Man, it's been a pretty busy couple weeks. Particularly this past week has been off the chain busy. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. For more than one reason, thank you. Scotty says, enjoyed the new episode. Poor Beecher had to sit there with nothing to do most of the time, but that's how the die rolls sometimes. Fear not. No spoilers, but you're going to get a treat coming in a few weeks. Beecher's going to have his own solo episode, and I think it's going to be pretty amazing. In the direction things are going, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the summer sessions and the B team episodes are, oh man, it's getting better and better, you guys. So I hope you are enjoying it just as much as I'm enjoying running the games. But it's getting really good, really exciting. Yeah, so VA just said regarding the whole taking notes during the campaign, always doing the group write-up as a player, always doing, having like a campaign diary as the DM also helps when you reflect back on your campaign. You can connect like things from 8 sessions ago. So when I did a campaign for another part of my original world, actually the Handymen, you guys might have watched those episodes that I posted on the channel. The Handyman episodes were my ongoing campaign that we played for about a year and a half. And sometimes we played like twice a month, sometimes it was once a month, sometimes it was like every 6 weeks. And we had a couple breaks in there, but I always took notes immediately after the session so that I would keep it fresh in my mind. And that really helps as a DM to go back and be able to look at what you were doing 3 sessions ago and then be able to connect that to your storyline too. So basically, bottom line, my tip for you guys is if you're a player, take notes. If you're the DM, take notes. Everybody should take notes. It helps. Kevin says, show us your fridge. No, I cannot show you the fridge right now. It's a mess. My whole house is a mess, to be honest with you. Robert says maybe even just use smartphones to take a recording or take a spoken cliff notes. Yeah, voice memos, sure. Take phones to take pictures of the minis. Excellent, Patrick. Absolutely. Especially if you have like, if your session ends kind of in the middle of something and you want to remember how you set up your minis and your terrain and your map, take pictures. Absolutely. Very good advice from you guys. I feel like I'm in a collection of people who would do well at the table. Hey, Michael Laybourne, finally caught you on here. Well, I'm glad you made it for Feedback Friday today. Yes, Kanoko, my friend, I cannot wait for the next episode of the summer sessions. If it were up to me, we'd be playing like every day over summer, but all of the students have summer jobs and some of them are in summer school. So it's been very challenging, but I'm happy that we're keeping up with our regular Friday release. So I'm grateful for you guys for staying with it and being patient. But I'm very happy with where we're going and being able to do an episode every week. So yes, DOD, I am in the dungeon, baby. I'm sorry, I'm way behind you guys. There's so many of you commenting. So Bill, by any chance, have you seen any of the content featured on the Townsend's channel? I don't know if I have. That's a good question. I subscribe to a lot of channel, but I will have to take a look at that, Nicholas. You can message me a link and I'll check that out when I get a chance. How do I get all the free D&D stuff from big companies? Kevin, you just start playing the game and then start streaming the game and keep working at it. We're fortunate to have such an amazing community of support from you guys, and it makes such a difference. I think back to when I started D&D with high school students, and it was only my books were the only books at the table. And now, through donations and stuff, everybody has a player's handbook to use. It's awesome, and we have other books that have been donated that some of the students are now using as source books to plan their own campaigns. Like Beecher using the Waterdeep books, and Jordan's has access to that whole library of stuff as well. So it takes a lot of work, and you got to be patient and you have to focus like anything, but practice makes perfect. So play the game and have fun. That's how you start. Let's see. Bill, what do you recommend when making NPCs, and do you recommend using sheets or just plain paper? Good question. Sometimes for an NPC, I will make a whole character sheet. Sometimes I'll just use descriptions. My patrons on Patreon know that I prefer to keep it loose, but I'm also okay with using sheets. And the reason for that is you can create an NPC without ever using stat blocks, without having a character sheet, just by describing their strengths, their weaknesses, their personality, their physical appearance, their quirks. And the advantage of keeping that kind of in just descriptive written language is that you can then translate that to any game system. So it doesn't have to be 5e. You can make an NPC, like for example, I could take an NPC that we created for our Patreon project and have that NPC be in first edition D&D, in Pathfinder, in Palladium Fantasy, in any system, just by the description. So I could go either way, but I tend to just prefer kind of descriptions for NPCs, and then maybe some notes about what they're good at, or if they're proficient with something specific, or what their class is, that kind of stuff. Nat Cat's here, yay! Carnitas, any advice on having darker elements in your game to give a war as hell feel without becoming an unrepentant Grimfest? That's a great question. So, number one, it depends on the group that you're playing with and their comfort level. And there's a lot of talk about this online in communities, you guys know, about people being triggered and safe words and all that stuff. So first of all, just know what is okay with your group. If your group is cool with going a little bit more grim, a little more gritty, a little more deadly, maybe darker, maybe some horror mixed in, some psychological thriller stuff, then go for it, And there's lots of inspiration that you can draw from in books, TV shows, movies, even, out of music. But yeah, you can add in a lot of that kind of stuff. For example, if character death is a reality, like genuine character death, not that you intend as a DM to go out and just kill everybody, but if death is a possibility, that makes your game a lot more gritty, number one. Number two, if you actually track the realistic elements like encumbrance, how much people can carry, and food and water, and disease, just simple complications of life, like getting sick, getting poisoned from eating bad food. Those things make your campaign more gritty and more grim. Having a character who has a disease has a huge impact beyond just the mechanics. Like you need to get cured. If you're poisoned, you need to be, you have to have that poison removed. So there's a lot of elements like that you can add for sure. And then there's psychological components, like you can mess with the characters' minds. That adds some kind of grim reality, have them hallucinating about stuff, have them not sure what's real and what's not real. Those are good elements that you can add in. Good question, I like that. Scott Marish says, I had a player that couldn't make a session while he was gone. The party encountered a green hag who teleported away before they could finish her. There you go. Yeah, I mean, hags are a great example of monsters that you can use to really mess with your party. Nat Cat, good to see you here, my friend. As a longtime fan of the series, Mr. Mason J, would you ever consider doing a Discord campaign using Roll20? Yes, you might have missed my earlier comment. I'm exploring options for playing online with my patrons. Fantasy Grounds, Discord, Roll20, those are all kind of options that I need to look into a little bit more. But yeah, that's definitely on the plans coming down the pipeline. I'm just not sure exactly when that's going to be started. But yeah, that's a thing that we want to be able to do. Scott says, I wanted a way for her to seek revenge disguised as someone else, but the party would have suspected any NPC I introduced, so I'm going to have the player play the hag disguised as his character returning. That is dope, Scott. Kudos to you. Wow, I'm so sorry I'm really behind. Thank you, Patrick Hanna, for the $1 tip to the tip jar. Appreciate it. VA says a lot that the students are up to continue playing over summer. Yeah, they are. And it's going to be rough when they all leave for college. I'm going to be a little sad, but I'm also happy and excited because Jenny and Jordan will be here, and there's new people coming through for season 4. So I'm optimistic. And I'm pretty confident that you guys will see some of the college students make returns. So we'll see. I don't want to promise for them, but what's up, Brittany? What's up? Brittany made it. Wow, it's so good seeing all you guys. Hey, James Woodwright, have you published books? Not yet. I have not published books yet. I have a lot of material, and I want to go about it the right way. I do not want to be published under someone else's brand. So right now, my gut instinct is that I'll be publishing through Kickstarter, unless somebody just promises me a stupid amount of money, but that's not going to happen. So I'm probably going to do a Kickstarter for my campaign world and do it in installments and see how that goes. Isabella Peterson, hello. Nicholas, I'm curious, do you see comments with links or are they completely removed by the filter? I don't know, try it. DoD Spec Ops is my agent. Yeah, kind of. Hey everyone, Mark Gump, good to see you, my friend. Wizard Credio, my friend Wizard Credio is here. Brittany, have you ever meteored a party even as a joke of frustration? I've done things to a party for messing around, for goofing around too much, but I've never like TPK'd a party out of frustration. Sometimes your players are a little rambunctious and you got to whip them into line. So I've done that. I've thrown obstacles at them or things to mess with them just to get them back on track. It's kind of a dirty trick that I do only when I need to do that. I prefer to kind of keep the narrative going, but if I see that they're bored or they're like not paying attention, I will definitely throw something at them, for sure. Do you create rank systems with your monsters, like goblins and orcs? Sometimes. It's hard to answer that question. I would say that creatures that I've created for my original world, some of them have different subspecies. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, there are different levels and ranks.
Dad?
Yes, son.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm talking to you through the vent.
Okay. Go back upstairs. Just joined, haven't watched the summer sessions yet. No problem, Credio. I will not spoil it for you then. Robert Dogs Paymaster says, in my opinion, if you want to run safe spaces in a game like D&D where dragons run around rampant, you can encounter vampires, zombies, and all kinds of other monsters, then you're in the wrong game. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that people are worried about encountering monsters in a game. I think it's more like themes. Okay, so I'll give you an example. If you wanted to make something in your game really grim and gritty and dark, you know, I don't think the thing that would trigger someone is a vampire or a demon or a monster. I think it's more like the themes, right? So if you were to go towards a theme of like something blasphemous and heretical, you know, or just a taboo topic like murdering children, you know what I mean, or rape, those are heavy topics. I think those are more the topics where you need to really have a serious conversation with your audience, because those, yeah, slavery, those kind of things can be very, you know, difficult for some people, and I understand that. But yeah, it comes down to just knowing your group and talking to your group about what everybody's cool with. And yes, it does depend on the genre you're playing, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell anyone that I play like a game like White Wolf's Vampire or Call of Cthulhu, if I'm playing a game like that, a game that's literally in the genre of horror, I will tell them up front that like this is going to go deep. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with crazy things that are psychological and you may be triggered. You know, I let everybody know in advance, because if I'm going to run that kind of game, if I'm going to put my effort into that and take a little piece of my soul to make it that gritty, then I want my players to really be into it. So yeah, but again, even with a horror game, you want to still have those discussions. May Shepherd, welcome to your first Feedback Friday. Welcome. The community you guys are on fire this Friday. We just got all sorts of great questions going on. Is there an email that maybe I can bounce some ideas off of you for my campaign? There is. I will. James. Jim, give me a minute. Tom Kelly's in the house. From what I see and hear, Fantasy Grounds is way better than Roll20, but there's a cost to it, which is why I use Roll20. So, yeah, I mean, to me, it's cost matters, obviously, too, but for me, I need to actually, like, do a test run with each of these formats for online gaming. Because I don't want my DMing and my narrative to be slowed down by the on-screen interaction. You know what I mean? I almost feel like I could run a D&D campaign through Skype or Google Hangouts. So I don't want there to be too much focus on the virtual tabletop. But at the same time, I know that each virtual tabletop has its own pros and cons, and I want to be able to kind of keep the game going and flowing without getting too bogged down in, dragging and dropping icons and shrinking and hiding maps and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm being a little bit cautious about entering the online virtual gaming scenario. Mark Gump asks, have you ever considered having one of your old-time buddies play with D&D with high school students as a temporary character? That would be awesome. I've never actually thought of that. But, Mark Gump, that would be awesome. I think it would have to be the right buddy, and I have one in mind who would be superb. Maybe that'll happen next year. Maybe that will happen if the stars align. So here's a sneak peek for you guys. The next Guys Gaming Weekend has been scheduled for November. The Masters of the Blade will reunite in Chicago in November for a weekend of D&D in the Forgotten Realms. And I will be able to play and not be the DM. Yes. Looking forward to it. Elethius, welcome. Napcat. I do like your dark doggos. I saved those to my phone, and now I'm thinking of creative ways to integrate them. Nice work, Natcat. Hi, Ann. Hi, Ann. I'm just now, Ann, you might have been logged in for 10 minutes, but I'm really behind on the chat. Sorry, guys. Gaming Tortoise is here. Nicholas, Brittany. So I want to start an advanced group and DM them meeting in a Tesseract Tavern. Any ideas? Ooh, that's cool. Yes. Tales from the Floating Vagabond. Look it up. I don't know if there's like a PDF version of it somewhere. But Tales from the Floating Vagabond was a game/setting where basically, imagine rifts, like where characters from all over the universe could meet up at this floating bar. I have lots of ideas for that, Brittany. I mean, you could literally have it be in some like pocket dimension that's accessible from a bunch of different times and planes, so you can integrate whatever technology or magic or things you don't want. Also, for inspiration, take a look at Ready Player One, not the movie, because the movie sucked. And while we're here, let me just give you a movie review. The movie Ready Player One sucked, and I'm not one to judge that often, but the audiobook or the book itself is vastly superior to the movie. So the audiobook that I listened to for Ready Player One was narrated by Will Wheaton, and it was excellent. First of all, he did an amazing job. Second, the full unabridged storyline is so cool. And anyone who's like remotely in their 40s or even late 30s who has some memory of the 80s, you will love Ready Player One if you read it or listen to the audiobook. In my case, I'm a very slow reader, so I just listened to the audiobook and it was astounding. So that, Brittany, is a great inspiration for you, because in Ready Player One, there's a whole virtual world where magic and technology and non-magic and non-technology all intersect. So check that out. Hope that helps. Wow, I am so behind, you guys. I'm so sorry. You guys are just popping some really good topics on me. My God, I'm like 10 pages behind. Have you heard about the Young Adventurer's Guide? Super useful for new players. Haven't heard of it, but it sounds good. I noticed that the last episode was kind of slower than the first. Sometimes I think Tony overthinks too much. Yeah, he does sometimes. I ordered Sword Coast D&D book. Is it good? It's okay. I think it's probably worth it. Especially if you really like the Forgotten Realms. I think the thing with the Wizards of the Coast expansions, like the Waterdeep books and Sword Coast, is they're all very Forgotten Realms oriented. So if you like the Forgotten Realms, I think it's worth it. By the way, folks, don't forget to like the stream. Yes, thank you, Nicholas Holmes. Scott Marish says, encountered some effed up things in Cthulhu, but could just as easily be in D&D. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't support Roll20. They apparently have enough white guys. So, Nicholas Holmes, I'm assuming you're referring to the debacle with WebDM and Cody from Taking 20. Yeah, I remember that whole thing coming up. I don't know the whole backstory, so I won't comment. I will be attempting to run Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Oh, cool. I'm mixing it with one adventure in the Yawning Portal to be prepared for different situations than Tomb of Horrors. That sounds cool, Credio. That sounds cool. Hey, Shalendor. Scott Buchler, as a returning D&D player, I just want to give a shout out to all the DMs out there who put endless hours in preparing. That's awesome. Thank you, Scott, and I'm sure all the others do as well. Yes, DOD Lagos. Are you going to make a recording? I just lost my place. Sorry. Are you going to make a recording like the high school students to be put online in parts when you're stuck with other productions? Maybe. I'm not sure. Honest answer is I don't know. Maybe. I'll try. Tex. What's up, Tex? Tom Kelly. Yes. Oh, Tom Kelly's referring to Brittany's question about having a tavern in time and space. Yeah, like sliders. Yeah. Riffs, sliders. Shalendor remembers Tales from the Floating Vagabond. It's an old game. I still have it. It's at the studio. I'll bring it in for the next Feedback Friday. For some reason, Floating Bar reminds me of the diner alien scene from Spaceballs. Yeah, kind of. My Tesseract would be accessible from any dimension that has my tavern, pub, bar across space and time, as long as they have been chosen with a copper token. Oh, I like that. So you can't just accidentally bop in there. You have to be invited. Ann Adams throwing me a big tip for the Coke Zero supply. Thank you, Ann. Oh, gotta go to work. Have fun. Oh, I'm sorry I missed you, Ann. I hope you know that I value you and am grateful. Thank you. Robert. Only movies I've ever seen that do any credit to the original books are Lord of the Rings and Dune. Yes. Agree. I think Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger was not exactly what Robert E. Howard had written, but it was pretty damn close to the Marvel comics to me. As somebody who read the Conan the Barbarian and Savage Sword of Conan comics, I think the original Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger was spot on. I still love that movie. I still use that movie soundtrack when we play games. I will never not love that movie. How would you start a campaign in a big city? Well, Isabella, that is kind of what we're doing in our Patreon group right now. We're making a whole region. It started as a little town, and now it's a whole big region. So that's a complex question. Is it just me, or is Olin the glue of the group? No, Tex, you're pretty right. He's kind of the glue. The Ready Player One book is like the Bible compared to the movie. Yes, Kanoko. Real world films, check out the Ridge War movie and All Quiet on the Western Front. Just bought my own player's handbook. Excellent, May. That's the start, and for some people that might be all you ever need. Nat Cat. You guys, can we stop typing to give him a chance to catch up? Shalendor says, I play in a one-on-one cipher campaign as a college student investigating weird occurrences, which end up with me getting a time dimension traveling device. That sounds cool. I have heard of the cipher system. I've never played a game using it, but it sounds like everybody who has really enjoys it. So that's cool. I dig that. Are there places that won't want you to play D&D in them? For example, libraries will want you to be quiet. Cafes will want you to buy drinks. James, it's interesting that you mentioned that because our local libraries actually welcome gaming groups. So you might want to check it with them. And part of the reason for that is because libraries are often, their success is often measured on their circulation numbers and their usage. So if residents are actually booking conference rooms, they don't really care what you're doing in there as long as it's not illegal. So if you have a group and you want to play in a conference room at your library, that might be your jam. I know that's something that happens around here quite a bit. Hey, Credio, you probably already went to bed, but good night. Good night, good night. Shalendor, I rolled a 1 for an NPC helping to build the device, so now I have no real control over it. Yeah. Hey, hi, Galak. Get out. FYI, your show inspired me to get back into D&D as a DM. I had the first session a few weeks ago, and it was awesome. That is awesome. I'm always happy to hear from you guys who are just starting off or in some way, shape, or form. That's awesome. I have not read the Wheel of Time series. I know. I should have my nerd card revoked, but I never got around to reading that series. Yes, the Conan soundtrack is the truth. I will always have it. I have it on vinyl. I have it on a cassette tape from the 90s. I made a D&D mixtape, and I recorded the vinyl record onto the mixtape, like the battle songs, and I have the digital file now that I ripped from the CD of the soundtrack. So Conan soundtrack is one of the greatest gaming soundtracks of all time. 34 watching, 18 likes. Yeah, smash that like button, yo. Thanks, was thinking of playing in a pub. I call them taverns because of my accent. Yes. Cat, you played in 3rd edition. Bill, how does 5e compare to other editions? Bill, you got to drop that mixtape. You know what? I really should drop that mixtape, you guys. I wonder how that would sound if I digitized my mixtapes. Probably sound like crap, but 5th edition. How does 5e compare to other editions? I will say, having played all of them, that I think 5th is excellent. It's very streamlined. It's not as rules heavy as 3.5. Some people don't like that. I think 5th edition allows you to make whatever you want to make, basically. You can play any race and class combination and have fun. Even the most simple, I've found that even some of the most simple basic things like playing a human fighter can be fun because you have backgrounds, you have the potential for feats, you have other things that you can use to help customize your character. Let me touch on a couple things because I have not realized how fast this last 36 minutes has gone. Should I map out the Tesseract so specific doors go to specific rooms or just make it all random? Make it all random. And not necessarily random, but make it, work for however you need it. Don't bother mapping it out. Shallandor points out that 5th edition to many of the best parts of the other editions and mix them into a fairly simple and wonderful system. Yeah, it has a lot of the fun and excitement that I experienced in the early editions and 1st and 2nd editions. It has a lot of the features from 3 and 3.5. It has some elements of 4th, but really, I think it's its own nice, streamlined thing. So, a couple things, you guys. Guess what? There will be no Feedback Friday next Friday. I got to take the week off. I'm going to be out of town. Not only am I going to be out of town, I will be away from phones and internets. I'm going to be in a remote, I don't even know if it's a cabin, a ranch. I guess it's a ranch. I'm going to be in the middle of nowhere, Colorado, in the mountains for a week. So if I don't get eaten by a bear, you'll see me after that. But remember too, that Gen Con is coming. That's right, people. Possibly the biggest, longest running, and most badass of gaming conventions, Gen Con in Indianapolis. We will be the official video crew. We will be there. So I go to Colorado, I come back, and then I work 15-hour days running the streams for Gen Con. So if you're going to be at Gen Con, come say hi. All the streams are in the Westin Hotel, and we will be there. But yeah, next week I will not be having a Feedback Friday. There's just no, I don't even think there's cell phone reception where I'm going. So, but fear not, the next episode of the B Team will be there. My faithful right hand, Carafa, will have it ready. We've already filmed it. It will be ready for you by Friday of next week. So even though there won't be a Feedback Friday, there will be another episode. Also, I put up some special extra goodie videos for you next week. Do you want to know what those are? Do you want some spoilers, some hints? Do you? Do you? Okay. All I needed was one person to say yes. All right, so Monday, I have a brand new episode of Monster Monday. So look out for it. It's going to be dope. I basically take a monster and I explore it and I talk about it and I give you tips for how you can use it and ideas for how you can put it into your adventures. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. I kind of liked making it. So yeah, there will be a Monster Monday, and then next Friday there will be an episode of the B Team with Jenny and Jordan. Then I get back from Colorado, but I immediately have to start getting ready for Gen Con. And then the Friday of Gen Con will be the next episode of Summer Sessions. So every Friday for the next 3 weeks, you'll have an episode of something, either B Team or Summer Sessions. So that's the good news. Yes, we've been busy. Now the other possibly good news, and you guys, since you have faithfully stuck around this long on this ridiculously long Feedback Friday, you guys are going to find out the secretly best part. There is a small chance that while we are at Gen Con, we might have a special one-shot game with some other YouTubers. I'm not going to name drop right now, but it could be Cody from Taking 20. It might be Michael from Unmade Gaming. It could be V from the Crafting Muse. It might be Dave or Ted from Nerdarchy. Who knows? But I will be seeing all those people, so I'm going to invite them to play a game. And if the scheduling gods align, then maybe you'll see the most awesome one-shot ever. And if not, then, what can I say? Yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. So thank you for tuning in to Feedback Friday. Oh, I totally forgot the topic of Stranger Things. Okay, two more things. Sorry, my bad. The first is Founders and Legends. Founders and Legends is next weekend, July 27th, on twitch.tv/GaryCon. Twitch.tv/GaryCon. Okay, so that is Luke Gygax, Joe Manganiello, Matthew Mercer, Mike Merles, and a bunch of other famous D&D people playing D&D all day long. Plus, like, founders, like people who, old school masters, like maybe Larry Elmore will be there, or Tim Kask, Ed Greenwood, who knows? I don't know who's going to be there, but there's a lot of people on the docket. Satine Phoenix. So there's a whole bunch of people who will be playing in Founders and Legends. So do that. Check that out. And then also Stranger Things. If you haven't watched Stranger Things, you should. Now, if you don't like creepy, sort of scary, supernatural horror stuff, then maybe don't watch it. But I found it awesome. And I also thought that it was cool how they integrated D&D, because it's set in the 80s, and that was kind of like, the kids in Stranger Things are kind of like around the same age as I was during that time. So I thought Stranger Things was awesome. I've watched all 3 seasons, and you might want to watch it too if you do Netflix. So that's all. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you always, always, always for your support in any way, shape, or form. Press that like button, the thumbs up for the video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Binge watch all the shows. Thank you. Peace out. Also, what was the last thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, if you want to join us on Patreon, you can do that. For as low as $1, you can have exclusive access to all of my Wisdom Wednesdays and other things that I post. So there are lots of options if you want to support. If you can, we would love that. If not, we will see you on the next stream. Peace out, everybody. See you when I get back from vacation. See you guys. Love you. Bye.